All right, I think we are live. Hello, folks. How's it going? Welcome to, let's make sure it's working. Check, 1, 2. Hopefully I sound okay. I'm in a hot car. I'm putting a seatbelt on for this. But we're live outside of the Abbotsford Centre, kind of down the road because the parking was wild. Lots of people in attendance today. But we are going to, let me just check my sound here. Yeah. Sounds like I can hear myself. Perfect. All right. We're going to hang out. We're going to chat about the Canucks, the training camp, about 20-25 minutes or so. So we're going to take your questions. Whoever you guys want to talk about, we can talk about. But yeah, it was a fun little event they put on there. It showed up at about 9:40 or so, got in the door just before 10. Some people on the ice. Practice started right at 10. They did a scrimmage at about 11:10-ish. And then that was about an hour, and then they did the last group at the end there. So let's talk about some players. I don't know who you guys want to talk about first. My real standouts for today, though, Jack Rathbone. Jack Rathbone is an NHL player. There's no ifs, ands, ors about it. On Canucks After Dark, we talked quite a bit about the whole Juolevi versus Rathbone sort of dilemma, and part of it was because Juolevi's waiver eligible, Rathbone's not. Contract, slight differences in money, things like that, with how tight the cap space is for the Canucks. But Olli Juolevi going through waivers should no longer be a concern for the Vancouver Canucks, just in general. He's not good enough. He didn't stand out today. He looked just okay. Meanwhile, you have guys like Jack Rathbone who go out there, and every single time he was on the ice, he was flashy. He was light on his feet. He was quick. His skating was just miles better. He was dynamic. He was creating plays. He was actually impacting the game. And I think if you go on Twitter, a lot of people will say the same thing. Travis Green says, I've got it pulled up here, quote, I don't think he did himself any favors, says Travis Green of Olli Juolevi's bag skate performance and overall form at training camp. That's Drance with the quote there. So Green wasn't impressed with Juolevi. I wasn't impressed with Juolevi. And it looks like Rathbone will get probably a spot and Juolevi won't. Other guys who I really noticed, Will Lockwood is going to be competing for that fourth line wing spot. We do have guys out. Tyler Mott is out. There was sort of that McEwen-Highmore battle that we were talking about. Lockwood looked better than both of them. McEwen didn't really stand out for me. Highmore looked like he had some good effort level going. So I was actually pretty okay with his performance. I just think Lockwood was more skilled and more aggressive. Lockwood was getting into some scrums. He was hitting people. He was making his presence felt. And that's very, very important in a training camp, right? You're trying to make an impression, show that you should be on the team instead of these other people. And I think he did a pretty good job of that. Other people you guys would want to know about. Vasily Podkolzin was fine. There was one really good sequence I put on Twitter where he was battling really well. But other than that, he didn't really stand out. His whole line, he was out there with JT Miller and Connor Garland for most of the for basically the entire day, right? For their practice group and for the on ice session or for the scrimmage. That line didn't do anything. They didn't create any chances. That makes me wonder, are they looking at this and saying, okay, these three guys just aren't going to work together? Maybe we don't go with this with Miller as like an extra center and putting Connor Garland and Vasily Podkolzin alongside Miller there. It just didn't really seem to work. Why is my screen getting darker? Give me my full brightness. I think my phone's getting hot and I think it's mad about it. But yeah, the Klimovich looked good though. Klimovich was fun. He was quick. He has a shot. Danila Klimovich has a weapon on when the puck is on his stick. He has a great shot. Like I was trying to film him at the end of practice. Everyone was sort of wrapping up, and he was just doing little half circles and taking shots, half circle taking shots, and he was just ripping them bar down every time with some heat. So he looked really good. I don't know if he'll make the team, but I think the Canucks should have a close eye on him because he genuinely could make a real, be a real impact player, if not this year, then something like next year. And to get a player like that out of a second round pick is wild. ShadowNet asking what happened with Keeper. It was kind of tricky. It was a really quick play. Basically, they were doing a drill where sort of just like a setup in the offensive zone, and he was net front with two guys sort of battling with him. Shot came through. Drant said it looked like he got hit by the shot. From what I saw, it looked more like he got twisted up, and it looked like his knee just bent the wrong way. It didn't look good. He immediately, you could hear him yelling as he went down, and the entire time he was on the ice, he was just yelling in agony. So they put I don't know if it's an air cast, but one of those they put a support on his leg, kind of like a brace, but not really. Put him on the stretcher. Yeah, it's probably if I had to guess, a broken leg. I'm not a doctor. But it was definitely bad. So a broken leg or a torn ligament or something like that would be my guesses. And probably out for a substantial amount of time, which sucks, right? He came in as a free agent. He came in basically just to be, to compete, right? Try to be, a top end AHL player, come up as a depth piece whenever injuries required it, or if they needed to change a pace. And with Hughes being out with the holdout so far, it was basically he was sort of competing with guys like Luke Shen, Madison Bowie, Brad Hunt. All of them were kind of in that same vein. He looked fine during the practice, and then his leg went out with about 15 minutes left in the practice, which sucks. So he will miss a long time, but hopefully he fully recovers. Retro asking what's going on with Pettersson and Hughes contracts. We don't know. Every sign is sort of pointing to a bridge deal right now. I think everyone's sort of in the camp of wait and see, and they're shooting to have it done by the end of, or by the start of the season. Quaxy, what car do you have? I have a MX-5 Mazda Matsuda. Other players, the one thing that I did notice during the scrimmage, no one stood out really negatively, and I thought that was really important. There was no one who I was looking at and being like, wow, they looked bad out there. It's easy to call out someone like Juolevi and being like, oh, well, he didn't do great. But that's because I was also comparing him directly with Jack Rathbone, who looked excellent. So I'd say the loser of this camp is Juolevi, just because he's not going to get a spot on the team unless he balls out during preseason, but pretty unlikely. Quack asking if I met Clay today. Yeah, we sat together. I texted him when I got there because I went solo. And I said, where are you sitting? He's like, blue line. And I said, okay. Went up there, sat next to him. We chatted. If you go on my Twitter, I have my one behind the scenes shot of him recording something, and it was fun. It was a really good time. That was kind of it. Mr. Andy, I can't really, it's so hard to read this so far away. Although it's far away, could you see us having to trade Rathbone because the top four in our left-handed D is locked up? No, I think he's too good for that. I honestly, I think he is good enough that he'll push through, and just take over the second spot if he gets, through enough. I don't want to think about trading Rathbone right now. He was excellent. Clay, great meeting you. Only took 6 months. Need to concentrate on my driving. Yeah. Please do. Please worry about your driving. Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. It was a good time. Glad we got to meet up. I will say popcorn at the Abbotsford Centre, pretty good. And the Diet Pepsi did just fine. What other players were there? Lots of the guys lower down the lineup didn't really stand out. Guys like Oliver Ekman-Larsson looked fine. Him and Poolman were paired together, weren't really letting a lot go past them. It was mentioned a couple days ago, I saw a tweet saying that Ekman-Larsson's good at getting the puck through to the net, and that is true. He was doing a pretty good job of that there as well. Actually, yeah, I'll put your comment up because I was talking about him. But other than that, nothing too flashy, but nothing damning either, right? Like, he looked fine. Just absolutely fine. Hopefully he can be good. Andy asking about Klimovich. Yeah, I kind of mentioned that he stood out. And if I had to compare him and Podkolzin, because that's, again, sort of the battle I was envisioning in my mind, he was more noticeable than Podkolzin, although, like I said, the whole Podkolzin line didn't look too great. But Klimovich has a great shot. He skates really well. He's quick. And he's got confidence. Like, he oozes confidence. He was I have one clip on my Twitter of him just making a nice little toe drag to the inside and then cutting back out and getting a nice shot on goal. I don't think he scored, but he definitely looked solid out there. Noah asking how Poolman looked. Poolman looked all right. Him and Ekman Larsson were very stable. It wasn't like anyone was getting burned or anything. They looked fine. There was quite a few instances where their line the line they were out there with had a lot of offensive zone time, and they were just doing a good job of anytime the puck would try to get out of the zone, they just hold it in, play it back in, and everything was just fine. They weren't making mistakes, Ekman Larsson and Poolman, and it sort of lends to the idea of them being sort of the shutdown pair for the Canucks for this season. And yeah, I wouldn't have too many complaints about that. And I could see that, them getting 20 minutes a night, filling that role. Quaxy asking, do I think Highmore will play more games than McEwen? Yes. Yeah, I really do. McEwen looked, he wasn't really noticeable. I think I noticed McEwen like once or twice. Highmore, didn't notice him because of like skill or anything, but effort level was higher with Highmore, and I think the coaching staff appreciates things like that. So I would say Highmore is higher up on my tier list over Zach McEwen. Olli asks, what do I think about 5 or 6 year contracts for Hughes and Pettersson? Basically, your only options are 3 because there's still RFAs after, or more than 4. I just don't think it'll happen because at that point you're buying UFA years, and the Canucks really have cap space to buy UFA years at this point because the more years you add on, the more expensive it gets. And I don't think the Canucks have the room to buy UFA years from them. Shout out asking about Garland. Little mention about Garland on Twitter. How was he in your opinion? Yeah, I kind of alluded to that with Miller and Podkolzin. Their line didn't do much. They weren't driving play. Every time they were on the ice, you kind of forgot about it, right? Garland looked fine, but nothing very exciting, nothing that stood out in today's session. No, asking about Gadovich and Di Giuseppe. Gadovich is as advertised. He has a good shot. He scored a goal. He was working his tail off, and he was laying the body. He got in a couple of scrums with Luke Shen. He went and he hit Shen pretty hard into the corner during the scrimmage, and then hit him again like 30 seconds later on the same shift, and they were jawing at each other, shoving back and forth. And those are 2 guys who were competing for spots, right? So there was some real passion in the scrimmage, and all around it was physical, it was fun, it was fast. It was a lot better than I expected. Yeah, Gadovich was good. I don't think he's roster day 1 good, but I think he was trying his hardest to impress upon the coaches that he's trying to sort of replace Zach McEwen almost, right? The big guy who can go in and play those physical minutes when you need a physical piece in your lineup. And I think he looked better than Zach McEwen in that role. As for Di Giuseppe, he looked fine. Didn't see a lot of him, but he was working hard out there, and he didn't look bad. I think he'll be an absolutely fine depth piece, and he could compete for a spot. He's one of the guys where he's sort of on that bubble, maybe a little lower on the bubble, where I'd like to see a lot more from him in preseason, see how he performs, see if he can, get solid minutes in preseason. I don't know exactly how they're going to split the lines up because you got to think they'll have about 35, 40 guys in the roster for preseason and 7 games or so to split among them. So that'll be interesting to see. Let me scroll up to find the comments here. Who do you think the Canucks will give the captains to? So Horvat will have a C. I think Miller will have an A. I don't know about the third A. I don't know if they'll give it back to Sutter. Could be someone like Miller. Did I say Miller is my first A? I did, didn't I? I'm a mess. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be very similar to last year. How was Besser and Hoglander together? They were fine. Besser looked really good, actually. Besser was probably skill-wise the best player on the ice, which is fair with Pettersson gone. But it seemed like Besser just kept getting the puck in open ice. Like every time you'd look up and he was on the ice and he'd just have a good like 8-foot bubble around him with no one there. So I think Besser was playing the game very smart today. He had a couple of really good shots. Hoglander looked good as well. He scored a nice goal in the second half there. I think both of them looked good. As for them together, it worked fine. And I think Patan is getting a really nice audition getting to play with them as the PD replacement. They looked fine. Shadownet's predicting Sutter, Myers, Miller, and OEL for the A's. Yeah, Sutter is one I'm not super convinced on, again, because he's just going to be on that fourth line. Cal asking, how was Will Lockwood? Will Lockwood was my standout of the day. Will Lockwood was physical. He was making, he was laying the body. How tall is Will Lockwood? Will Lockwood. I think he's only like 5'10", isn't he? Or is he 6 feet? He's 5'11". He's only 172. He was physical. He was clearly like trying to throw the body around. He has a good shot. He has good hands. We were watching because they were in Group A. They were in the first session, and he stood out just in the practice, and he continued to stand out in the game. I really liked his game, and I think he might have a real shot at making the roster day one. Quaxy, sorry if I asked a lot of questions. No, please ask questions because you guys are the only way I can make content, because that way I don't have to think as much. I don't have to like think back and remember. You guys can like trigger memories for me. Did Halak look better than what you expected? So I wasn't paying too much attention to the goalies. Halak let in one pretty weak goal. So the first goal, I overheated. I wish it would have given me a warning. Yeah, I'm on an iPhone. It's just I'm sitting in, like, I had my phone mounted in the sun because I'm just parked outside and I didn't have air conditioning on, so it was hot in here. Agam says, "Rip Juolevi as a Canuck." Yeah, he didn't look great. I think he's done. How did the Coyotes boys do? So Ekman Larson, I said earlier, he was fine. He was good defensively. He just looked decent out there. Nothing noticeable, really. Good at keeping the puck in. Garland looked not great. That line didn't look great. The Miller, Podkolzin, and Garland unit didn't look good. But hopefully that's just like a one practice thing and they can get that sorted out. How did Dickinson look? Dickinson looked fine. Again, there was a lot of players who didn't stand out, and Dickinson was one of them. Podkolzin was another, and basically the whole thing was they were out on the ice the same amount of everyone else, but I didn't really notice them. All of like I recorded like all of like the big moments, and put a lot of them on Twitter, and they wouldn't have been featured in any of them. Agam, Klimovich or Lockwood more likely to make the team? More likely Lockwood. Klimovich was really impressive, but I think Lockwood looked more seasoned. So Lockwood's more likely to make the team. But Klimovich looked just fine. I hope I can easily cut out the time where the phone overheated. I think another thing, I was also using my phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot to my laptop, so I had chat in front of me. And yeah. Oops. Do you think Klimovich is a mid-season call-up for the Canucks? If he's in the AHL, yes. If they send him to the Q, then no. I hope they put him in the AHL, though, because he definitely is good enough to play pro hockey. Fave person you met in the stands? I didn't meet many people. I sat with Clay, so that was fun. We had Harmon walked behind us, but he didn't know who I was. But Clay said hi to him. And that was it. There was one guy, Wes, on Twitter, didn't know who I was, but as he was leaving at the end of the day, walked past us, and Clay was talking, and he noticed Clay's voice. He turned around, he's like, "Are you on Twitter?" He said that to Clay, and I thought it was really funny. But he didn't recognize me. So guys, go follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. I need to bump those numbers up. Any standout guys you didn't expect? Yeah, my list was basically Rathbone by a mile. Lockwood was really good. And Klimovich was really good. And that was kind of it. And Besser looked really good, but he's a man guy. Do you see Hamonic and Sutter playing on opening night? Hamonic, I don't know. I don't have any more information than any of you do on Hamonic. And Sutter's out, isn't he? He wasn't there. So I don't see either of them playing on opening night. Because even after the practice ended, three guys came out for a skate. It was Mott, it was Focht, and it was it Klimovich? Just no, Klimovich left. I tweeted it out and I forget. But there were three guys out after practice. How was Damco net? Fine. None of the goalies looked any worse for wear. DiPietro was a little shaky in his practice group, but that was it. I hope Puma can surprise us. Do you think him and OEL's match? Yeah, they're going to be the shutdown pair, and I think it's pretty much set in stone. They looked good together. Like they were just solid on defense, and looked absolutely fine. If both of them prove me wrong and can be solid defensive pieces, then I will be very happy. Manuel says, I feel like Besser deserves the A for all he's done off the ice. Yeah, I don't think we have a great picture on in the room. I think Miller gets an A. And I think a lot of that comes down to, especially today when we saw Keeper go down, when Brady Keeper went down with that leg injury, with about 20 minutes left in practice. First, like everyone was kind of like freaking out, like looking to like calling for staff. And JT Miller immediately like dropped his gloves, went, knelt down next to him, like tried to, you know, comfort him in some way as best he could. I was really impressed with Miller's leadership at that point. Let's see here. Quack's asking how Horvat did. He looked like Horvat. He had one really nice move where he sort of went in, made a nice little spin around to the outside to cut around a guy, which was good. But other than that, he was fine. Nothing you wouldn't expect from Bo Horvat. He was Bo Horvat. It was yes, no, you're correct. It was Brisebois with Mott and Fogt out there at the end of practice, after practice on their own. Just getting shots in on Seelovs, I believe it was. Forward lines, assuming everyone shows up for game one. Well, based on what we've seen, it's going to be something like Pettersson, Besser, Hoglander. It looks like Miller, Garland, Podkolzin's the line they want to try, although they didn't look great today, as I've said. Who does that even leave? That leaves Horvat with Pearson. And then I don't know who they put there. Because they're going to be a pair. I don't know who they put with them. If they do, like, bring a guy like Dickinson up on the wing, give me your thoughts. I'm not sure. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Is it Sion? But what channel is the game on Sunday? Does anyone know? So I know in the States, in Seattle, it's on Root Sports. It's not on the Sportsnet schedule. I don't know. I know it's going to be on the radio. But I'm hoping we get a stream of it. If not, you might have to just try to find a stream from Seattle of some sort. Keeper got hurt. Yeah, he either broke his leg or tore a ligament. But he was down for about 7 minutes or so from the time he went down until he was stretchered off. They had to put his leg in like a brace. It was not good. NHL app. That might be a really good call. It might be there. Websites for NHL streams. I don't condone piracy. I use I watch on cable usually. If I'm gone, I have my Optic TV app or my Sportsnet app, so I'm good wherever I am. Who's your Canucks dark horse? Well, it's tricky because I've been sort of beating the Lockwood drum all day, and I think he's still kind of a dark horse to make it, so I'll go with him. I don't know. Brad Hunt looked good. uh, Agam, I don't condone what you're talking about, but if you guys do look at his message, it might give you a hint. Uh, but allegedly, I would never watch an illegal stream. Ever, never. We are coming up on almost about half an hour. And I did want to do about 25 minutes, but now that I have air conditioning on, I'm kind of okay. We'll do another 5 minutes or so. Do you think home opener on October 26th will be full capacity? No, it'll be half. And I think they announced that already. I think they want to push for something like late fall to try to go 100%, but it's going to be 50%. So about 9,300 people or so is what I would expect. I'm impressed. 40 of you guys turned out, and I'm sure there were more before I dropped off because of my overheat issues. I'll try to trim that out of the video. I think I'm able to do that once it's done processing, so hopefully I'm able to do that. Or at least put like a card on screen just to skip ahead. But yeah, Saturday afternoon, it's only 2:14. How did the stadium look? I was impressed. There is not a bad seat in that arena. If you are wanting to go to an Abbotsford Canucks game, an AHL game this season, go. It is, um, it's like going to the lower bowl at Rogers Arena, but a little smaller. It's like 7,000 seats, I think, and every seat is good. We were sitting on the blue line, like 15, 20 rows up. Excellent view of everything. There's no seats in there that'll be bad. And the concourse was nice. It was in good shape. I mean, the arena was only 10 years old. I was really impressed with how they had it set up. So I highly recommend going out to a game out there. Yeah, shout out confirming, like I said, 50%. Jacob, what's up? What's up, Jacob? Thanks for tuning in. Kanaki says good to know. Yep. Yeah, and it's I think tickets are only gonna be like 20. I think they start like $25 for single games, maybe 30. But I'm definitely gonna try to get out to a game or two or three this season. So I'm looking forward to that. Hockey Rush, how did OEL look? Saw a nice outlet pass on Twitter. OEL looked good. He looked fine. And I kind of said he just looked like a good shutdown D-man. Um, he had a couple good outlet passes, but nothing flashy or anything like that. All right, we'll take 2 or 3 more questions, and then we'll wrap up here. By the way, I will be live after the Canucks and Kraken preseason game tomorrow night. So even if you guys don't get to watch it on TV, I'll do a stream. We're going to do a dry run for our post-game show that we're going to be doing all season long. So come hang out for that. Do you think Patan or Dowling can make it? Patan is getting as good of an audition as he could, and he looks fine. Nothing really stand out today. Dowling looked just okay. Again, nothing really stood out for me on Dowling. I don't think they'll make it, but I think they'll have a good AHL season. I think Patan could be a nice early call up for the team this season. Jacob, do you know what channel the game's on? No idea. It's on Root Sports in the States, in Seattle. I would see if you can find a stream. Maybe I don't think it'll be on Sportsnet, but see if you can find a stream online of Root Sports in Seattle. Can I ask you ever been to a BC Lions game? I have in the past. I haven't been in a long time, probably 5 years or so. But I will go to some, maybe a game this year, next year, something. I usually go once every couple of years. Same with the Whitecaps, just when I feel like hitting the town. You know what channel the Monday game is on? I don't. That one's in Vancouver, right? So I don't have a clue. I would imagine probably if it's on TV, it's on Sportsnet because they have the rights. If not, something like the NHL app, maybe, or something like that. Lucas asking how Abbotsford Centre was. I just kind of talked about this, but it was awesome. Really, really good stadium. Really good arena. Kind of intimate. Like every seat in there is excellent. And it's going to be a good place to watch hockey. Temperature was good. Everything was nice in there. I really liked it. All right. I think I'm going to wrap up there. Maybe one more question if it comes in as I'm wrapping up. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. I had a lot of fun at the training camp. If you missed any part of it, you can rewind back to the beginning. Stuff coming with the future. Sunday night, we've got tomorrow night Canucks and Kraken. I'll do my post game show after that. Monday night Canucks after dark. You guys know the deal. You guys know at this point. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe, hit like, go follow me on Twitter at ParkersPucks. You can join the Discord. It's all linked below. Sorry about the phone overheating. I'll try to trim that out in the VOD so people don't leave at that point. But that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in on a Saturday afternoon. It is a beautiful day. Go outside, go do something because it's like 28 degrees. I'm going to hut the roof off and go for a little drive. Maybe I'll do that now. Just like that. And I'll see you guys next time.